Do you ever feel like you're going crazy? Like no matter how much evidence you have, no matter how clearly you see all of the red flags in your life, no matter what's happening in the relationship, he always twists it back on you. Like you're the problem, like you're the one that's overreacting, like you're the one that's losing your mind, that's going crazy. I get it. And I've seen this happen over and over and over. And I've lived it, but not in the way that you might think. My name is Ben Taylor. I'm the founder of Raw Motivations, and I'm not just a coach for survivors of narcissistic abuse. I also used to be the narcissist. For years, I manipulated, I gaslit, and I controlled the people closest to me, convincing them that they were the problem, that they were the issue, that they were the ones that were crazy, while I kept all the power and all the control. I made it my mission to help break people free from the same exact cycle, to be able to wake up and actually see clearly and reclaim the life that you actually want to live. So let's talk about why he wants to keep you in the crazy, why he wants to keep you thinking that, and how he keeps you hooked over and over and over. You might feel at this point like you're losing your mind in the relationship, like you feel like you're constantly second guessing yourself, your decisions, your judgment. It's almost like you can't even trust your own thoughts, your own feelings, your own reality, because it all goes back and forth. 1 minute, everything feels fine. The next minute, you feel like you're the one that's the problem. You're the one that's overreacting. You're the one that's being too sensitive. You're the one that's ruining and destroying the entire relationship. And he's the one that's calmly sitting there acting like none of it makes sense at all. Like you're crazy for even questioning him. And you start to believe it over a period of time. You start to wonder, maybe I am crazy. Maybe I am overreacting. Maybe I am the problem. And that's not an accident. It's not something that just accidentally happened, that just magically shifted. That's actually by design, and that's actually part of the goal. Because if he can get you to question yourself, if he can get you to question who you are, if he can get you to doubt your own sanity, he has complete control over you. And I know that because I used to do it too. I used to twist reality, twist what the other person was thinking, not because I needed to, but because the more that she doubted herself, the easier it was to manipulate and to be able to control her. The easier it was to be able to keep her chasing my approval. And for you, I want you to see it starts extremely small. Just tiny little things. It might just be a comment here, a contradiction there, just something that happens that you call him out and you know something is off, but he immediately flips it back onto you. He immediately confuses you of what's happening, saying, that didn't happen. You remembered it wrong. You're being too sensitive. Why do you keep bringing this up? Why are you always looking for a problem when there is none? And then you back down. Maybe at first you push back. At first you said, like, no, I know this is right. But every time you tried, he makes you feel like you're crazy until you eventually just stop questioning him altogether. And that's exactly what he's doing. Trying to make sure he manipulates and gets you to a place that you feel like you're crazy. Because the moment you stop questioning yourself, the moment he realizes he loses power, the moment you stop questioning him, that's where he starts gaining power back over you. The moment you start doubting your own mind, that's where he has control. That's the moment that you hand him control over your reality. That's why every argument that you have with him feels like a maze that has no end. Every conversation leaves you confused and frustrated, wondering what is even happening. It's not because you don't understand. It's because he's deliberately making things more complicated, making sure you can't see straight. This is why it's hard to be able to argue and engage with a narcissist, because he's always changing the rules. He's shifting the narrative of what's happening. He's changing all the little details, wondering, oh, what am I thinking wrong? Because he tells you it's all in your head. Because you're too desperate to keep the peace, and because you're desperate to feel loved again, you start agreeing with him. You start actually giving up. You start convincing yourself that maybe, just maybe, you are crazy. And now he's at a place that he doesn't even have to lie anymore. You end up doing the work for him, even gaslighting yourself. Gaslighting yourself to believe him before he even has to do anything. You find yourself explaining away the inconsistencies that you see, minimizing the disrespect that he gives, blaming yourself for the chaos that he's created. And that's how he keeps you hooked. Because if you think the problem is you, you'll keep trying to fix it. You'll keep twisting yourselves into knots, trying to look and figure out what is wrong with me. How do I fix me? And you'll try to do everything to be better. You'll try to work on yourself to avoid setting him off, to avoid all the different aspects of what he's going to do, because you're trying to win back the version of him that you met at the very beginning. But that version never existed. You fell in love with a mask. You fell in love with something that was a setup. It was a way to get you addicted to the idea of who he pretended to be, not who he actually was. That's when the manipulation started, when the gaslighting started. It started at the very beginning of the relationship. You think it's happening now? No, this is just you seeing that it's happening now. It's been happening the whole time. Because throughout the relationship, the mask would start to disappear, and you'd wonder what's wrong, so you'd fight harder to be able to get him back, instead of actually seeing the truth, that that's who he actually is. Every time you doubt yourself, every time you question your own sanity, he tightens the grip and he pulls the noose tighter on you. Because now you get to the place that you rely on him to tell you what's even real. You no longer trust your own instinct, your gut. Yeah, you've silenced that for years now. Your own emotions, they don't count. Your memories, they don't exist. You just trust him and him alone. That's exactly what he wants, because he has ultimate control over you. There's a satisfaction that he has watching you spiral down, watching you break down piece by piece. Not just because he enjoys your pain, but because your pain means that he's in control. That's what he really enjoys. Some of them don't even care about the fact that if you have pain or not. He just cares about, am I in control? I'm in control? Good. You're in pain? Am I in control? Good. You're in pain? Am I in control? Good. Okay. He doesn't really care about your pain. That's the hard part. There's like an indifference about all of that. You have a lot of confusion, and that's exactly where he wants you to be. Completely confused, completely lost. Because when you can't trust yourself, when you have no choice but to trust him, that's where you end up being stuck permanently. And that's where you are right now. Wondering if maybe you're the problem, wondering if maybe you're the issue, maybe you're the one that's too sensitive, maybe you're the one that's overthinking every single thing. Because every time you try to speak up, he shuts you down. Every time you try to confront him, he pushes you aside. He twists it, he changes it. He shifts the narrative. He shifts the blame back on you, turning it back on you and making it your fault until you're the one that's apologizing. How many times have you tried to bring something up to him and you've been the one that's apologizing to him? He did something that hurt you and you're the one that apologizes. And you see this happen over and over and over. You're the one that's sitting back and begging for forgiveness when you didn't even do anything. You're the one questioning every single thing in your life. That's how deep the trap runs. It's not about the lie itself. It's not even about the argument or what's happening between the two of you. It's about him having control of the narrative, control over himself so that he can look a certain way. It's about all these times that the situation happens and he flips it back on you. It makes you feel like you're the crazy one, makes you feel like you're the bad guy, makes you feel like it's all your fault when he's the one that caused it to start off with. How many of you stopped trusting your own minds and you've started to rely solely on him to tell you what's real, to tell you what's right? Like there's not even a piece that you question anymore. You just accept it. And that's part of the scary part, is the longer you stay in this relationship, the more normal it starts to feel. That's why even if I took you out of this relationship right now and I put you in a healthy one, you'd probably implode that relationship because it doesn't feel normal. You're used to the abuse at this point. Like you've been adapting to chaos for a long period of time, and you've gotten to a place that you've convinced yourself that questioning him isn't worth the fight. So as a result, you're just like, this is how life is. This is how this marriage works. Maybe it really is you. Maybe it really is your problem. And you end up being caught in this endless loop. But this loop is something that he created and that he designed to keep you stuck. Where you spend your days trying to figure out how to modify yourself, how to be less sensitive, how to avoid triggering him, how to keep the peace, and all the while you lose yourself in the process. How many of you have bent over backwards trying to be able to fix the relationship and then realizing it actually had nothing to do with you? That's the power of gaslighting. Being able to shift and adjust what you believe and what you see. That's why he wants you to think that you're crazy. Because once you think that you're crazy, he doesn't even have to work that hard anymore. He doesn't have to even do anything. You'll actually police yourself. You'll silence yourself. You'll stay quiet because he's already trained you. Just to avoid feeling insane one more time. To avoid making you feel that way that he's going to make you feel. Are you seeing this in your life? Because he's doing this to you right now. He's taking you from the strong, confident, clear-headed woman that you used to be to a place that now you've questioned everything that you thought you knew. You've gone back on your morals, gone back on your standards, broken boundaries that you said you'd never break, and making sure to get to a place that when you stop pushing back, that's when he tries to reward you. Because he wants to train you with his positive reinforcement of like, oh, this is what you do. He wants to train you with this negative reinforcement of this is what you don't do. And you've started to apologize. You've started to give up. And now he dictates your reality. All because you stopped trusting yourself. And that's the moment that he has complete control over you. And that's what he's done over and over and over. You feel like you've lost who you are because you spent so long trying to survive in the chaos that he's created. Trying to twist yourself into whatever shape keeps him happy. You've pretzeled yourself trying to get to the place that you appease him, but it's never enough. You try to erase the parts of you that speak up, that question him, that doubt, that fight back, because that's not worth it, because it continues to have this giant rage, this giant ego hit, these things that happen so many times, and these parts of you feel like they're completely gone. I want you to understand they're not completely, but he does have them buried. They're buried under layers of confusion, of self-doubt, emotional manipulation that have happened for months and years of being told that you're crazy, that you're too much, that you're the reason that everything is falling apart, that you're the reason that the marriage is stressful, that it's your communication, that it's your issues, that it's your problem. But I need you to hear me when I say this, like, you are not crazy. You're not overreacting, and you're not the problem. He wants you to believe that, because as long as you do, you'll stay in the relationship. You'll just give in to whatever he's doing. You'll keep chasing his approval over and over and over. You'll keep minimizing all the things that's happening, minimizing your own pain, and you keep shrinking yourself to fit into his world. It's not your job to fix the relationship, but you feel like it is. It's not your job to prove that you're sane, but right now it's a full-time career for you. It's not your job to convince him to see your worth, even though you keep doing it every single day. He still hasn't seen it because he already knows your worth. It's not a matter of fact that he has to see it. He knows it, and that's why he's working so hard to break you down, to make sure that you do not see and believe your own worth. Because if you believed your own worth, if you actually trusted your own mind, if you listened to your gut, and if you stopped letting him rewrite reality, you'd leave. And that's the piece that he doesn't want. He doesn't want you to actually see clearly. He has to keep you just in confusion. Because if you see clearly, his game is over. He loses. Narcissist just has to keep you confused. If he keeps you confused, you don't make a move because you can't figure out what to do. So how do you actually break free and untangle yourself from all of this? There's a web that he's spun around you of confusion. Part of it starts by just simply doing the opposite of everything he's taught you. Starts by learning to trust yourself again, by believing the voice inside of you that says, this isn't right. This might be building back your confidence by tiny little steps, little habits that are repetitious in your life, so you start trusting you again. It starts by refusing to gaslight yourself any longer. Stop making excuses for him. Look at the facts of the situation, the truth of it. You already know a decent amount of it. You already have felt it. You just need permission to be able to trust it again, to be able to see and understand who you are. And if you don't know how to get there, if you feel like you're too far gone, or you don't recognize yourself when you look back in the mirror wondering how you can even move forward, I can help you. Inside my Thriver community, I work with women that are just like you. Women who spent years questioning themselves, doubting their reality. Women who thought they were the problem, that they were the issue, and that it would never be fixed. Women who felt like they've lost their minds. And now, they're thriving. They're growing and developing like they've never been before, simply because they finally saw the truth and they chose to trust themselves again. So if you're ready to stop feeling crazy, if you're ready to stop dealing with the abuse that keeps happening in your life and doubting yourself, if you're ready to reclaim your sanity in your life, then I want you to book a call now. Go to rawmotivations.com/breakthrough. Watch a short video there, and don't waste another second letting him dictate your reality, dictate your worth. It's time for you to finally break free. It's time for you to take your life back. And it starts with one decision, starting now. You've been told it's all your fault, and that makes you feel crazy. No one understands you, and that leaves you in a place of being alone. You've tried to break free multiple times, and that leaves you helpless because nothing you've done has actually worked. It hasn't actually got you free or liberated from this toxic relationship. So you feel crazy, alone, and hopeless. Guess what? That's a lie. Because all it is how you've been raised and conditioned inside of this abusive relationship over and over. And as a result, you've sacrificed your growth, you've sacrificed your worth, and you've been trapped inside of a toxic relationship. What if I showed you the path to freedom? A way for you to actually get free mentally and emotionally from the toxicity that's happening right here, right now. You deserve more. You deserve to be able to heal. And I want to help you with that. If I can help you with that, go to rawmotivations.com/breakthrough, schedule a call there, and let's talk.